Welcome to another Demarcation Media Mega Construx review. Today we're going to be looking at the Halo Infinite Blind Bags Series 2. I did an opening video for these. If you haven't seen that already, I suggest you go check it out. But in that video, I grabbed just a handful of blind bags from Target, and they happen to be the only ones left. And somehow, with an extreme stroke of good luck, I got the entire series completely on accident. So that means we can go ahead and look at the full series today. We're just going to jump right in and start with that blue Grunt. I said blue Grunt, but I guess it's kind of purple. I don't know, it's a bit of an in-between color. It's bluish purple. And this is the first time we've gotten this color of Grunt, which is pretty cool. For the most part, it's just a standard Grunt. He has a needler, and let me go ahead and we will drop in one of the orange dudes for comparison. Let's hope my camera focuses. Come on. There we go. So we've got the purpley blue and the orange. And then we also have, come on, stand up. We also have the red. Let's see if we can focus again. So that right there is all three current colors of Halo Infinite Grunt, the standard Grunt. So I like that. I like the fact that we're getting different colors. And I hope that we continue seeing different colors. I'd like to see maybe a black armor Grunt. Green would be kind of cool. But for now, we just have the three. And I think the purple blue is a great addition to the Grunt collection. Next up is our super ugly Jackal. This is the banished version, so he's got all red armor. He has a little red plasma pistol. My camera doesn't really want to focus on it, but has to anyway. So the interesting thing about this guy is he's actually the same Jackal that we saw in the Banished Mercenary pack. So let me grab that figure real quick. Quick side by side. Literally the only difference is the fact that one has a purple plasma pistol and one has red. It's exactly the same. So you can get the same Jackal in two different places, which is good because Jackals are kind of figures you want to be able to mass, but it's still a little odd that they just reuse figures. And just for kicks, there is the blue guy. Again, same everything, just different armor color. The Jackal comes with a green stand. The Grunt came with a green stand as well. And what you'll see, which actually I find super interesting, is that all of the Banished figures come with green stands and all of the UNSC figures come with tan. It's kind of suggesting different environments that they're in, which is interesting. So another really good figure, another really massable one. And I definitely hope, like with the Grunts, we keep seeing different Jackal colors. Especially some new colors once we get that sniper, because he's got a peg hole. Come on, focus. It does not want to listen today. Anyway, you get the idea. There's a peg hole there, so there's got to be a sniper rig coming at some point. And so I hope we can continue getting different colors once we get that. And speaking of recolors, here is our Elite Ultra. He has been recolored in this super dark gray kind of stealth look, and it looks amazing. I gotta say, this might be the best color yet for this figure. He has very minimal printing, just on the top of the head as well as in the eyes. But with this color, honestly, you really don't need print. His weapon, plasma carbine, He has, again, a green stand, which is pretty interesting. Quick look around the back. Again, that gray looks amazing. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to grab the other Ultras, give a side-by-side. Gosh, my camera hates focusing when there's more than one subject in frame. So we've got the Blind Bag Ultra next to the Banshee Breakout Ultra. Looking very good, but I gotta say the gray is better. Then we have the red one from the Mercenary pack. And honestly, those colors look fantastic together. I think a pop and swap of these two would be pretty cool. And then our last one is the Halo Heroes Ultra. He's definitely still got more detail, but the dark gray just looks so good. So that's all three of the Ultras we have already. And then in the next Blind Bag series, we're going to be getting a teal Ultra, which is going to be pretty cool. Still though, I gotta say, I think this gray is the coolest color yet. Next up is our CQC Spartan, and you can see we've switched over to the tan stands now. This guy is super cool. The color is super cool. The CQC armor itself is just a really cool armor to begin with. But what's really interesting is they've used an ODST armor on a Spartan, and I don't think Mega has ever done that before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I have never seen that before, and I'm pretty sure it's something that they just started doing. So I think that's really cool. I definitely would love to see more Spartan and ODST armor mixes. I think it looks really neat. And two, I'm a sucker for the asymmetrical look, so I really love it when they do the arm that's all one color and then the other arm is not. That's pretty cool. He's got a mauler. I think that's what that is. I get mixed up with the spiker and the mauler. And then his print on his head is very well done, actually. His visor is very well done. And then he's got a knife print, which for a blind bag figure, that's kind of rare. So definitely props to Mega for actually giving us the knife print. That's really cool. And let me go ahead and drop in the only other CQC I have. I believe there is a blue CQC as well. I do not have that one. But I do have the Halo Heroes CQC. They look great side by side. Next up, we have the active camo Trailblazer Spartan, and he kind of just blends in with the background. I guess like he's supposed to. He is active camo. This is a common figure, which, again, I know this has been batted around so much, but the fact that we have the active camo figures as commons is pretty disappointing. They worked well as kind of the chase figures, because they're not hugely desirable, especially not as army builders, and because the active camo figures are the commons now, the army builder figures are rares. So that's kind of disappointing. Now, the interesting thing about this figure is we have gotten Trailblazers before, and these guys share the same chest plate, but they don't have the same shoulder armors. So this is not supposed to be the same figure. And then we have this guy who shares the same shoulder armors, but not the same chest plate. So this guy is not either of those guys in active camo form. It is an entirely different figure, and I guess technically that gives us a third unique Trailblazer, even though he doesn't have any print. So it's a good figure. I especially like the clear Bulldog shotgun, but it definitely is not one that I would like to have as a common. I will say, though, the quality feels better than the active camo Master Chief, just because putting him together was not a pain in the butt. Like, he went together pretty well. There was no real major weirdness going on. And look, the shoulder armor is even tight on there. So, an improvement over the last series. Next up is the Spartan Anubis, And I gotta say, might be my favorite figure out of the whole series. I'm not sure. The Mark 5B comes pretty close. But this is the one that was dubbed the Swolger over on the Domains channel. And he is a literal walking tank. I mean, look at that. Look at that getup. He's massive. He's got a big DMR. I love that dark red color. Yes, it does look a little McDonald's-ish paired with the yellow, but in my opinion, it looks really good. Then the Anubis helmet itself is done pretty well. The yellow does not quite match the yellow of the armor, which is understandable because it's printed on gray, so it's not too big a deal. This almost feels like it could be a Heroes figure. If it just had a little more detail printed on there, then it would feel like a Halo Heroes figure. We have only 2 other Anubis Spartans so far. I believe there's another helmet set coming with one at some point, but so far, these are the only 3 that we have. And they look pretty nice together. They all look very different, which is pretty good. You know, with the Mark 7s, they kind of all start looking the same after a while, but these guys are so different, you can't really mistake them for each other. And I honestly would love to see one of these guys make it into the one of the Halo Heroes series, because I just think their armor looks so good, and some extra print would do it proper justice. Overall, though, definitely really like this figure. I actually like it so much I went and bought a second one to use for customs. Here is the Mark 5B Spartan, and again, it's kind of a toss-up for me between the Anubis and this guy, which one is my favorite, because they're both really good. This guy is pretty beefy as well. He's got George's chest getup, Grenadier chest getup. And then he has the asymmetrical look again with the default shoulder pad on one side, and then whatever that one is. I don't really know that one. Comes with an AR. Very nice. The helmet is done quite well. And then he comes with a tan stand again, just like the other 2 Spartans. So they obviously are all in the same area. Nothing really around the back, but that's a pretty nice mold. There's that default shoulder. Now, this is not actually the one that I opened on camera. And that would be this guy. But something was wrong with his elbow, and it's a little hard to see how weird it looks. But let me see if I can get this guy into the right position. So look at his elbow, and then this guy's elbow. This one, for some reason, would not stay together. Every time I moved it, it would bend outward in really weird ways. And there was a bunch of excess plastic that was keeping it from bending properly. And it was just weird. It kind of messed up. So I ended up buying another one for the review. I may end up contacting customer service about the first guy, or I might just turn him into customs. But it was very strange. And then I noticed the other guy's hand was at a weird angle. Might not show up on camera, but it's like almost bent too far upward. So it was just a couple weird things that I missed on camera. I thought that the Elite Ultra was actually the one with the defects, and I fixed that guy, and it was really the Mark 5B. Overall, though, this is a great figure, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but aside from Noble 6, I think we've only seen this helmet one other time in a Spartan Customizer pack in green. So that means it's in gray, dark gray, green, and now blue. So I think Mega needs to use it more often, because it's a great armor. The visors always seem to come out really nicely. And I gotta say, I love this blue. It is so well done. It's just it's not too shiny and plastic. It has just the right amount of shine to make it look like actual Spartan armor. It's just really good. And then paired with that dark gray, which is the same dark gray that we saw in the Ultra, which is a great color. So definitely a great figure. And again, I can't decide if this guy or the Anubis is my favorite. Last but not least, we have the Banished Phantom, which some people think is really ugly. I'm kind of undecided. I haven't seen enough in-game to decide whether it's ugly or not. It definitely has the banished look with all the spikes. But Mega did a great job capturing what we saw so briefly in the game demo. Like, they literally got every detail that they needed. Even the little gun down there. Like, how cool is that? So, whether it is or isn't an ugly vehicle, Mega definitely got their build for it perfect. It looks really, really good. And it looks really good alongside the Pelican as well. I haven't been a fan of these micro builds very much. Like, the Battle for the Ark series had Spirit of Fire, and then New Dawn had the Forward Unto Dawn, and I kind of didn't really pay attention to those. The Clash on the Ring had the Covenant Cruiser. That one was pretty cool. But for the most part, I've kind of just ignored them because the figures were what really I wanted to get. But honestly, these Infinite builds are really nice. For some reason, I just really like these ones. Maybe the Pelican just made me a little bit more inclined to like them because the Pelican's such a good build. But this Phantom is actually really nice. I like it a lot more than I expected. Well, there you have it. That is the Halo Infinite Blind Bags Series 2. I gotta say, I think this series, at least for me, is a step up from the last series. It just feels more well-rounded, more solid. There's less filler figures. Like, Series 1 had both Active Camo Chief and the Gummy Brohammer, and they just kind of filled up a lot of spaces. You would get those guys more than anybody else. So I definitely think this is a step up from Series 1. Series 1 wasn't bad. It was a great series, but this one has done everything Series 1 did and then some. All the figures are really good. I didn't get quite as many as I did with Series 1, but there seemed to be less defects, but that could have been just my pull. And it's just so solid. We have 3 great Spartans, 3 great army builder Banished, the awesome micro build, and then the only kind of meh figure is the AC Trailblazer, and even he is a pretty cool figure. Series 3 looks to be even another step above this series, so Mega seems to be really just upping their game with these blind bags, and I can't wait to see where they go from here. But I highly recommend you go and track some of these down, especially those Spartans. Those are so good. Those are amazing Spartans. But then, of course, the Banished army builders are amazing as well. So, highly recommend. If you have not collected a full blind bag series before, this is the one to do it because, like I said, there's really no dud figures. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.